You know, I guess when you look at the tea leaves, when you look at the behavior of House Republicans, first of all, do you think Kevin McCarthy is going to make it out of here still holding the speaker's gavel?
Probably not, Alex. I mean, Kevin McCarthy, first of all, I think it's important to understand he's not a long-time opponent of raising the debt limit. When he raised it, he voted to raise it 3 times during the Trump administration. The debt limit has been raised 49 times under Republican presidents. This has been historically, until the examples you just gave in 2011 and 2013, something that just happened because Democrats and Republicans didn't want to wreck the economy, even when they had moments of disagreement. But I think it's also important to note that the reason why McCarthy is so vague right now is, as you just alluded to, he really doesn't have a plan on getting out of this. He promised spending cuts to the right-wing circus in his party, but those spending cuts he doesn't even have the votes for because they're all terrible, terrible options.
You know, Jen, I'm reminded of last week, way back when it was last week or the week before, whenever the speaker's contest was in full, the full fever was breaking around Kevin McCarthy. Yeah. You know, and it's like Republicans look on at the raucous wing of their party, and it's a mix of kind of incredulity and indignation, like, oh, you crazy people, how did it all get so insane? But, like, this is how it got so insane. Mitch McConnell, who's like the establishment figure, the guy that understands how it's all supposed to work, made a very calculated decision in 2011. We're going to take the full faith and credit of the United States hostage. And once you cross that Rubicon, can you really be that surprised that now you have a wing of the party that's ready to actually go off the cliff?
No, because they made it something that others would do in the future, as you just said. So that is one of the reasons, and I've talked to officials at the White House, my former colleagues, about this, why they do not want to make this a negotiation. Because once you make it a negotiation, like it was in 2011, the markets and the economy gets even scared about the uncertainty. That's what led to the credit rating being downgraded. That's what can lead to people's retirement accounts being diminished. And so they want to go back, as most sane people do, to the period of time when this was just raised, as it has been dozens and dozens of times in history. But the group of people in the party who seem to be controlling Kevin McCarthy's agenda, you know, they like the chaos. The chaos for them is attention. The chaos for them is fundraising. And so there's not an incentive to them, crazy enough, to not make this a chaotic hurtling toward uncertainty around the debt limit.
So, but then how does the White House play this? Because it's one thing when the White House can sit back and look disgustedly at what's happening in the lower chamber when it's an election for Speaker of the House, right? Let Republicans cannibalize themselves. Let this circus continue for as many days as it needs to. But it's another thing when the circus is centrally about the full faith and credit of the United States, and there are real world implications in terms of how much it costs the U.S. economy, what it does to people's retirement accounts, the jobs that are lost. So how does the White House play this? And can they just let Republicans basically circle up in a firing squad shooting at each other?
Well, look, I know that President Biden sees the Senate and the House differently, maybe because he was in the Senate for so long. But it was Mitch McConnell, as much as he was a completely irresponsible actor back in 2011, who pulled together a number of Republicans in 2021 to raise the debt limit. Now, since that time, Donald Trump has attacked him, and it's become more of a hobby horse of the right wing. We'll see. But Democrats still control the Senate. So their focus is really on the House and smoking out Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has said he wants to negotiate. That's not a good idea because that creates uncertainty. But what's important here is to know, and what the White House is really going to keep pushing for publicly, I would expect. And if you're sitting in a White House right now, you're strategically trying to figure out how to do this to put the pressure on Republicans, is what exactly they want to cut. Because when people hear discretionary spending, most people don't know exactly what that means. What that means is either cutting the military budget, which Republicans do not want to do, and most in his caucus will not want to carve out, or it means cutting domestic programs. Do they want to cut veterans benefits? Do they want to cut housing? Do they want to cut health care? Or the biggies, and this is really the only way to do the cuts that they want to cut, or the size of them, is Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, those entitlement programs. So what the White House is going to do is they're going to keep putting public pressure on. They're not going to negotiate, and they're going to try to smoke out exactly what Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans are proposing to cut.